Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on another what if player. We're going to be doing 88 rated what if Martin Odegaard. We're going to go through the player, his details, stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this card and if you enjoyed the review. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, taking a look at Martin Odegaard's 88 rated what if card. This is a team that I played him in the 4-2-3-1. I linked in Pepe and Thomas Partey for those chemistry reasons. I played him in behind Luka Jovic. That also has a review. Please do check that one out. My first impressions of this card, guys, it's 600. Guys, please bear in mind that with all my reviews as well, that I have to take the price into account for how I think they played, because that is so important, and it's not about the upgrade and what they could become right now. It's about who the player is and how he plays right now. And for me, guys, for 600k, this player just didn't do it for me. Now, he's a very good player, don't get me wrong, and he does play very well once you figure out how to play with him. However, guys, I just don't think he's got the right stuff to be that elite cam in your team yet. Now, with the upgrade, that may change, of course, because he will go to 90 rated and be close to 90 rated in almost four stat categories. So that definitely might change. But without further ado, let's just get into the review. Martin Odegaard, 5'10", medium work rates, left-footed, 5-star skill moves and 3-star weak foot. So immediately off the bat, a number 10 or a central midfielder, I like them to have 4-star weak foot ideally. Now, I know a lot of my favorite ones don't, but I like them to have it irrespective of that, and I feel like this card maybe needed it a little more than others, especially with his lack of maneuverability and just slightness in the game. I felt like he really did need a 4-star weak foot because I had to force a lot onto his left foot. The 5-star swing moves is a lovely thing to have. I think that's always a bonus when you've got that in a player, especially for you skillers out there. In terms of his work rates, guys, I would like to see a high-low, especially for a number 10. But I can understand that a medium doesn't really commit to him either too far forward or too far back. He just kind of floats in that zone that a number 10 should float in, so that's okay for me as well. 5 games played, 3 goals scored and 5 assists, so not a bad return, especially for a number 10. More assists than goals for once for me, which is quite nice. He did create a lot of chances for me, and is a pretty decent passer of the ball, which leads us on to the chemistry style that I put in. I had to actually boost his dribbling, guys, and I figured I might as well try his passing as well. So I did put an engine on him, I did put an artist on him, just to see what that would do. Overall, guys, I do feel like his dribbling really does hold him back, but let's get into that a little more. Now, in terms of the key stats, guys, first of all, we'll look at the passing. 90 short pass, 88 long pass. His passing and link-up play is really great, and I think that also ties into his vision, because he's able to play passes really well, straight in lines with runs that are being made, and just put them on a platter for people to finish. His overall dribbling is pretty good, but guys, there is a severe con in his dribbling, and I think it's to do with his reactions. When Martin Odegaard is turning with the ball or moving with the ball, he doesn't feel like he could turn as quickly or move as quickly, or just in general keep up with the pace of the game, and I really do think that's down to his reactions. He feels often very slow and sluggish on the ball, and I think that is again down to his reactions. The artist did help him slightly in that regard, but he does feel very stuck, and although he has 93 agility, 91 balance and 93 ball control, which all come in handy when you've got your time on the ball with this card, it really does affect the card in terms of being able to just move around and play in general when you've got such low reactions in that dribbling department. The other con of this card, guys, is his finishing and shooting. 84 finishing with 83 composure is not good enough for me as well. Obviously, after the boost, that will be significantly helped out. He did score 3 goals for me, of course, but I think he could have got so many more with better finishing as well, so that was a real con for me too. In terms of the traits, you've got solid player, flair trait, playmaker, outside of the foot shot, and technical dribbler. All great traits for number 10. This is a really nice page to see, guys, because you see a lot of the stuff that you want to see in a number 10, and Odegaard has all those things as well. I do think he's capable of playing that deep playmaker role as well. However, I didn't try him there. I only tried him at the number 10 slot. Now that we've covered all of that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Martin Odegaard's clips, and guys, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about with you guys about this player. Specifically, the first thing is his set pieces and free kicks. Now guys, when you go to look at Martin Odegaard's set piece stats, they look absolutely phenomenal. What I would say is when you're taking his corners, they are very loopy corners. There's not a lot of power on them, despite him having, I think it is 91 power on his free kicks. So something to bear in mind, guys, is that he does have very loopy corners, much easier for goalkeepers to come and punch and claim the ball, rather than putting a bit more fizz on it and therefore making it easy, one, for the strikers to head them, but two, more difficult for the goalkeepers to come and claim. However, guys, what I will say in counter argument to that is that his passing is very good on his left foot. His right foot is lacking a little bit, but that's what happens when you have a 3-star weak foot. I actually feel like it's more of a 2-star weak foot, but overall his weak foot isn't really usable in terms of passing. You do have to keep everything very left footed, and that does lead to your opponents figuring out how to defend against this card for the most part. Sometimes you will get away with some nice little turns and tricks and flicks, but overall, guys, I do think that he's very heavily left foot dominant, especially in that cam slot. It's much better if he's able to be 2-footed. However, you guys will have been watching in some of these clips, the way he links up the play, the way he's able to pass the ball is phenomenal, and that does allow you to create a lot of chances. First time passes, easy balls there, driving at the defense as well. Now, his pace isn't great, but it's enough to be able to create chances and cause a bit of fear in defenders and run into good spaces and create chances as well. Guys, one thing I do want to mention as well, again, is that dribbling. You guys will see that I'm doing a lot of turns or straight movements and then passing the ball very quickly when I can. He felt very similar to De Bruyne in that regard, where he just wasn't able to turn and move with the ball quickly. Now, I know that some people find De Bruyne an absolute wonder to play with. For me, I didn't really enjoy it, and I felt the same kind of pain with this Odegaard. I actually think this Odegaard was slightly more agile than that De Bruyne card, but overall, I feel like that reaction time really does slow him down in terms of being able to move with the ball, avoid defenders, and just create good opportunities for his teammates. Guys, he did score 3 goals for me as well, so it's not like he's incapable of being a goal threat, despite his finishing being relatively poor. He's still very capable of creating chances. They are just unlucky that Mateus is in the way. He did, however, get 2 very nice goals for me. This was the first one, and the other one here, where he does pick up the ball deep, plays a little 1-2 with Luka Jovic, gets past the defender again, gets into the space, plays another little 1-2 there, gets into the box, and a lovely header into the back of the net. So guys, getting into this final Martin Odegaard summary, 604 on the PlayStation, 590 on the Xbox, and 590 on the PC. Getting into his key stats, guys, you've of course got that passing and vision there, which really does lead to lovely passing in general. His dribbling is a good stat, guys, don't get me wrong. However, I do think this reactions really does throw it off. That's a really key point to take up on there, is that he does seem to react very slowly to the ball and move very slowly in terms of reacting against other players, and that's something that really does affect this card as well. His composure and his finishing is a little low as well, especially for a number 10. I would like that to be a little higher. However, guys, what we do always have to bear in mind with these cards is the potential upgrade is there, given the players that Arsenal have up front. In Aubameyang mainly I'm speaking about here, and how his on and off form has been there. But overall, guys, I do think that this card probably will receive its upgrade over 5 games, so please do stay posted for that. In terms of recommended chemistry style, guys, I really think that something like the engine may work well. Something that maybe boosted reactions might be a better way to go. I don't know. If we look at something, say, like a Maestro, then we get the good reaction time there, the boosted passing and boosted shooting as well. But guys, really overall, what we need to do is find a way to boost that finishing, find a way to boost that reaction. Now, there will be, of course, chemistry styles in here that do all of what we're trying to do. I just don't necessarily know them. I mean, the marksman does a good job of that as well. So, guys, there's a number of ways to play this card. However, guys, if you were going to play him deep as well, then certainly a Shadow would do him a lot of good as well in terms of just putting that on, helping his defending out. He is capable of playing that defensive role. I just think he needs to be put with the right chemistry style to be able to affect him in the right ways for that. In terms of similar players, guys, I think Bruno is a far better player than this card. I would, although this might seem very harsh, I would maybe liken him to this Oscar card. I have used this Oscar card. He feels similarly stuck in the mud sort of player. I wouldn't say he's as slow as a defensive midfielder or centre midfielder like Axel Witsel. I would say this card is a lot more free moving than that card, and is not as good as Clarence Seedorf. Is a good shout again, but I think that this card is just much more stuck than the Bruno Fernandes card, much more akin to Oscar's style of play. In terms of linkability, guys, we've got some great linkability on this card. That's of course down to the Arsenal players. We've got Europa League Aubameyang, future star Saka, Parties, one to watch, Pepe, of course, that's league player Bellerin, storyline Lacazette. You've got a whole bunch of players you can link in there, as well as linking weak links to Erling Haaland, who will be, of course, in this set of players somewhere. He'll pop up. There we go. Erling Haaland does, of course, weak link there, so you can put him into a nice Bundesliga hybrid or start to build a Bundesliga side to your team through that way as well. Finally, guys, getting into the prices of this card. Now, guys, as we can see here, he is sitting directly below Bruno Fernandes in the CAM ranking and Gini Wijnaldum. I think Gini Wijnaldum's a far more well-rounded player than this card, and if we look down further down, we can see Harvey Barnes sitting here as well. Now, guys, for me, this Harvey Barnes card is better than this Martin Odegaard card. I had definitely had more fun with Harvey Barnes than I did with Martin Odegaard. Bruno Fernandes certainly is a better card as well in terms of attacking gameplay and just finishing chances, creating chances for his teammates too. However, what I will say, and it's a constant thing to bear in mind, is that this Odegaard will receive an upgrade if Arsenal get 6 goals in 5 domestic matches. So really, we have to consider that this card could potentially be a 600k card, which is playing at the level of, say, a Bobby Firmino, Freeze Bobby Firmino, or a Player of the Month Fernandes. It could be playing at that level after a couple of games time, so that's something to really consider as well. In terms of comparing him across the entire FIFA database, he says right under that Cam Figo. I do think he's better than Figo. Anthony, a completely different player in my opinion. Anthony, of course, is a bit more of a winger than Martin Odegaard is. Comparing him to someone like JJ Okocha is maybe closer as well, because JJ doesn't have the greatest of combinations of stat sets like Odegaard as well. So I think if you compare him to JJ, I think he's better than JJ and Figo. However, if we start to go up the list again, we could run into Bruno Fernandes and other players like that, Kaká as well. Coming up against these icons, guys, I think he does win against some of these icons, but not all of them, of course. Which leads me to my final recommendation on this card, guys, which is if you're looking to build an Arsenal past and present, which I was at one point and had to stop, then this card obviously goes into your team. I think this card will get the upgrade, guys. So take that into account when you're considering whether to purchase this card or not. I do think that however much that this card does upgrade, I do still think his reactions are going to hold him back. And as of right now, guys, I do not think that this card is worth 600k. I mean, if you look at some of the players you can get for 600k, you can get 2 or 3 decent players for 600k that will do a much as good a job as Martin Odegaard will. Will you get 2 or 3 good players for 600k that will be worth what 90 Odegaard is worth? I don't think so, but I still think his reactions would hold him back too much for me unless they manage to boost that in the upgrade. However, if it goes by what they've done in the showdown cards, which is a 2+ upgrade, then reactions would only be at 83. It's still too low for me, and guys, I think that no matter how good that card is, if he still feels stiff when he's dribbling and he can't turn properly, then it really is an issue for me in terms of using this card at the number 10 slot. I would really struggle to do so in general. So that would be my recommendation, guys, is you really do have to consider whether you can live with that low reaction speed. Of course, his finishing and all that will improve as well. That will be more than usable once he gets the upgrade, but just bear in mind that reaction is the biggest factor about this card. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.